everyone, and welcome. I'm Anya Chrysanthemum, Chief Communications Officer here at Anewgo, and I'm so glad you could join us today. We have a really exciting session planned for you today. It's called AI, Bots, Assistants, and Agents. Oh my! We're diving into how artificial intelligence is transforming new home sales journey from chatbots to answer questions, to smart agents that actually guide buyers all the way from browsing to buying. Leading today's conversation is none other than Anewgo CEO John Lee. John's been at the forefront of using technology to reshape how we market and sell new homes. From his early days to co-founding Rendering House, to building Anewgo into a full software platform, has been pushing this industry forward for over 2 decades. So whether you're just starting out to explore AI or you're already experimenting with smart tools, today we will give you practical insights into what's next and how to stay ahead. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, John. As always, we are recording this session, so please feel free to ask questions. We have chat open. Probably most of the questions were reserved towards the end of the presentation, but I will be monitoring chat. With that, John, take it away.
All right, great. Thanks for the introduction. This is going to be a very exciting session here because AI has really been around 2.5 years now. And in the AI world, it's grown up. It's not a baby anymore. And we're going to go through the evolution of it. And the reason I called this AI, Bots, Assistants, and Agents, oh my, it's actually a paraphrase from The Wizard of Oz, Lions and Tigers and Bears, oh my. And that's when Dorothy was walking with her friends, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the lion, as they're going through the scary dark forest, and they're worried about the lions and tigers and bears. And in a sense, a lot of you are probably feeling that way as you're going down this new AI journey toward this mysterious AI Emerald City. But we're in it together. But as you can see from the emojis there, each of those characters, they represented probably part of our audience here. The Scarecrow, this AI stuff is just mind-blowing and they need some help. And then you got some people like the Tin Man. They don't really have a lot of heart for this. They don't have a passion for this. They're forced to fall in love. I'm hoping that I can win your hearts over with some of the stuff that we talk about. And then really for a lot of you guys out there, and even me when I first started, was being like the lion, the scaredy cat, where there's a lot of fear and we need to get that roar back because we're all in this together. Maybe we're the Dorothy and leading this way, but I believe that for our industry, if we can march down together, down toward this Emerald City, in a sense, it could be paved in gold. And really, it's not just for us. It's really for us to lead our home buyer customer journeys, because that has really been a painful, arduous journey. And one of the many reasons why many homeowners drop out of buying new homes. So I'm hoping that AI could guide the customer journey and improve the shopping experience. So let's get walking here. The making of the new home AI marketing. AI didn't just appear. It actually needs a lot of things to get it started. And it actually started probably in the early 2010s, but really in 2016 with OpenAI getting into scraping the websites because it needs content to start. And it's not just websites, it's actually PDFs, spreadsheets, videos, photos, blogs, almost any sorts of content and data out there. But what happens with that content, it needs to digitize it. So it needs to take all this disparate content, it could be visual, it could be textual, and it formats it and structures it into bits and bytes of data. Now that standardize it, it can now learn from it because it's synthesized all that. But to express it, to work with humans, us poor humans here, it needs a channel for us to tune in into a radio or watching a TV channel. And that's why in marketing, content and channels are two critical elements. Now, what happens is AI had got the ball rolling here, but there's another important element that adds to training, and that's how humans interact with it. So once people interact with those channels of data, it actually adds more content because the AI is generating content for it to react to. But as we react, it's learning from our behaviors because AI, at the end of the day, as far as smart as it is, it's really about recognition of patterns and trends and popularity. So, how does this relate to us? When we first started out back in 2001 as Rendering House, we actually started out as a content creation company, particularly because in this industry, the products don't exist. They would only exist virtually. So that's why we created, like I said, a visualization company to help people see their future homes. And then as technology advanced and with the cloud and with mobile, and obviously the importance of data, we became Anewgo in 2020, and that became a prop tech software company, which we were capturing all this data even before AI started. We are actually collecting that data for AI to chomp on later on, but the AI collects both the product data from the builders, from the ERP data, to actually like customer relationship, consumer behavior data. Now together, we as Anewgo, we have now created channels because to be a full marketing software platform, we need to create content and now the channels with interactive websites and sales centers. So our path is mirroring what AI is doing. For the new home customer journey, it actually takes both of those elements, visualizations, because like I said, the homes don't exist. So we need to show them not just a new home, but their new home and the way that they have configured it and all the pieces and parts down to the kitchen sink and home sites, along with all the pricing. But it's a long, arduous journey across many sessions, and it needs memory. It needs to be able to compare. It needs guidance. And that's where AI can continue to help them in that journey online. Now, when I meet you in person, obviously, it's great to have handshake and your empathy and relationships. That emotional quotient is very important. But to get you there, the AI helps in that journey. Now, at the bottom there, I've always said that our mission is to help buyers find, design, experience, and even buy new homes online. But with AI, it adds a very important element because very few people buy a home on their own. They need a co-buyer, whether it's their spouse or a realtor or even the builder. Now AI can allow you to collaboratively find, design, experience, and buy online. Keep that in mind because that's where I'm going to wrap up with at the end here. There's a perfect storm for disruption, and it's a scary word, but I think disruption is always also a great opportunity because usually the hurricane's followed by some sunshine if you can survive it. And there's like large winds of change that have happened to this industry. Frankly, our industry has been living in a very low pressure environment. It's very stagnant, very fragmented, and it's an inefficient marketplace. Everybody just does their own thing. Nobody bothers anybody. There's no leader or no standard practice. But in recent years, and starting from COVID forward here, you've seen a lot of ups and downs of the economy. We don't need to go into a lot of details, but with interest rates, prices, and everything, and just the general economy. Then in the last year here with the NAR rulings about paying for the buyer's agent, that's caused some disruption for realtors, but it maybe even the buyers may want to try to do more and more themselves so they don't have to pay for a buyer's agent. You've seen our audience has really changed. Not only they grew up on Facebook and Amazon and Uber and Netflix, they're expecting to do more and more online, just like they do with new cars. So they're more tech savvy and they're increasingly a large part of our audience. The millennials have grown up. In the tech world, one of the mainstays and dominant players in the way we do marketing is Google, but they're facing antitrust, not just in the US, but worldwide. They're talking about maybe having to sell off their Chrome browser. They may have to divorce themselves from Safari browser on Apple, and the cookies going away. Maybe that doesn't even matter now with AI. The other thing that's also happening in this industry, tech is actually coming into this industry, and that's in the form of a lot of new startups. It's great. It's actually great to see this innovation here. I've seen probably more tech innovations in the last 3 or 4 years than the previous 10. But the overarching high pressure that's coming is AI, because I started when the internet first dawned on this industry, and that transformation from print to digital was very traumatic, but it ended up being very good for this industry. I think we're at the next paradigm shift with AI, artificial intelligence. So with the high pressure moving into a low pressure environment, I really forecast a hurricane of market disruption. And if I was really scared, I would sell my company, but I'm sticking with it because I think there's a whole lot of opportunities here. But just to give you a state of the nation here, these AI waves are coming, okay? Started 2 years ago, some other new waves coming. But in our marketing world, we've really been living in this world, calm waters of static content, static channels, SEO, which needs those static content and static addresses. It needs to know what that URL is so it can crawl in, index it. And it's all about directing a mass audience in certain directions. And then you have chatbots, which are the early predecessors to AI in a conversational way, but it's still really algorithmic decision trees. So what's coming? What's actually here, actually? The first wave of AI was generative AI. And a lot of you have already played with this, creating images, creating new marketing text, videos. It's really taking that static content and making it interactive because you're interacting with it, which then generates content for your consumers to interact with it. But it's really functionally been just impacting your marketing department. And it's really just been impacting the sellers, not really the consumers. But this year, you're starting to see a wave of what they call agentic AI. And this is really where it affects the buyers and the customer journey, and in particularly in the functional area of sales. Sales used to say, oh, that's just a marketing thing. No. This is now going to affect the way you market and sell homes. And that's really going to affect particularly not just the buyer's assistant who will help them shop, and maybe in this non-buyer's agent world now, also it will affect the sales assistants. Maybe your AI will actually help you sell. This is going to have a dramatic impact on online sales consultants who have traditionally only talked to humans, which then also affects CRMs, which has only been a derivative of your conversations with humans. One thing I want to clarify right off the bat, because everybody's always positioning AI or AIO, artificial intelligence optimization, to see SEO, search engine optimization. I want to say AI is much broader than this. It's much more than just a marketing platform. AI is not simply a search engine replacement. AI actually encompasses multiple applications, of which the search engine is just one feature of it. Yes, it's a powerful feature, but it's just one feature. Just like we didn't buy smartphones just to have better phone calls. Smartphones actually diminished phone call usage. It's going to be so pervasive and ubiquitous in everything we do. And it's not only because we're looking for websites. And so to me, AI is a much more intelligent smartphone. We call it a smartphone, but the smartphone was really, it was smart because it connected us to the internet, which gave us a ton of data to utilize. But intelligence takes all that data and then guides us and helps us and remembers personally. There's a sea changes are happening for keyword text searches, which ironically, I'm going to talk about search engines. For the first time since 2015, Google's search engine share has dropped below 90% and is continuously dropping now. And that's before the antitrust stuff. And that's before they even launched their Gemini AI mode. 19% of searches now are using AI. And it's not just searches for websites and stuff. It's searching for, what is this flower I just took a picture of? How do I do something? And now 75% of the queries that are done with AI are answered without you even leaving Google. So that's resulting in a lot of zero clicks. We used to worry about click-throughs. People are clicking out. They're not even going there because they're answered in the AI overviews for Google. But that's, again, before they even launch AI mode, which will now not just list the answers, it would actually have a conversation, which would drive more questions. But again, it may be a long conversation before they actually go to your website. This is where it's really transformative, is now businesses are subscribing to ChatGPT. I've been talking about this for a couple of years, and it's always been, hey, it's a nice little cool toy I play with, and this is fun. My kids use it or whatever. Maybe they do it in school, but businesses now are thinking this is an important part of their business strategy. And 36% of them are doing it, and that subscription is increasing, which means that departments and individual employees are going to start to adopt. The subscribers for businesses went from 2 million to 3 million, a 50% increase just from February to May. And you're seeing a 10% monthly AI growth. OpenAI's annual sales last year was $3.7 billion. They're on track to do $12 billion this year. So that's like a 3 times increase. Anthropic, which is like the little sister to OpenAI, and that's what Amazon uses, has $1 billion in sales last year. They're expecting $3 billion annualized. So again, 3 times. ChatGPT users, at the end of last year, the weekly users was about 300 million. I think in April was like 500 million. And now in June. It's 800 million weekly ChatGPT users. It will definitely exceed 1 billion per week by the end of the year. So what does this all mean? They actually have these new ratios. We've always been talking about bounce rates and click-through rates. Now they're talking about crawl to visitor ratios. And that's the ratio of the number of times the bots crawl website versus a person actually visiting a website. So traditionally, using Google 6 months ago, the bot may crawl 6 websites, and then based on some of the results, their buyer would click through to one of those websites as a click through. Today, that ratio 6 months later, it's 18 to 1. The bots are bringing so much information back, there's no reason to even go to those websites or further down in the conversation. So there's a lot of queries, but less click throughs. And that, again, before Google has even switched to AI mode. And OpenAI, which a lot of people use for a lot of other things beyond just going to websites, 6 months ago was a 250 to 1 ratio. Now it's 1500 to 1. So it's like a 6x increase, and people are just spending their time. People are having best friends with ChatGPT, and it runs their lives and everything. Anthropic, which is a little bit more, like I said, with Amazon e-commerce and a lot of research, 6,000 to 1, because you're not just looking at websites, to now 60,000 to 1. And that's the sources through Cloudflare. Cloudflare is the one that actually operates a lot of these servers for a lot of these AI companies. I've been in this industry for 25 years, and I've seen all the major tech that affects new home marketing. And one thing is, every time a new tech comes out, it actually creates a larger marketing funnel. So everybody's always freaked out about the new tech, but it's actually opened up your audience. It's actually made it faster, better, cheaper for the people that can adopt it. It makes their lives easier. And each new tech actually becomes the new top of the funnel. And amazingly, even though it becomes a larger scale, it actually becomes more personalized. So if you go back in time here, I started out here and when everything was print and the channel was paper. You actually had to get your advertisements in by that press release, or that publication, and on a certain day. And it was very geared toward humans. Humans had to pick it up, they had to read it, and it had to be print friendly. That was the medium. Fortunately, digital came along, and then that opened up websites. And then websites now opened up to a global audience, not just your subscription to your local paper. But again, it had to be human first, but now it had to become SEO friendly, because to be able to find this plethora of data, you need to have a way to index it and quickly find it, not just the classified ads in the newspaper. Then apps came along, and then apps now opened up portals like Zillow or whatever. So now you can actually go to an industry aggregator site. So you didn't have to go search all these disparate realtor websites. It all brings all the content there. And also brought it mobily. And it also brought it so that you can save favorites and have a personalized experience. But again, it was human first, but it had to be now become mobile friendly. For the first time, now with AI, it has to be AI first, because the AI doesn't bring you to a certain place. It actually starts with a personalized conversation with you. So it's actually opening this new channel, which is a conversation channel, which is ironically the way humans are anyway. That's actually the channel we were born with. We had to adopt these other mediums as we got older and became more robotic. Now the robots are meeting us where we are at. So now it has to be AI first, and then it has to be AI friendly. Whether or not you like AI, AI needs to be your best friend, because if it's not, you're not going to get any business. And each one supersedes it. And like I said, it goes to the top of the funnel, enlarges your audience, and makes it more personalized. Now, what is that impact? Also different. AI agent is not only the top of the funnel, it's going to be throughout your funnel. So generative AI helped you attract that audience, create all those images and videos and text. But agentic AI will actually accompany that buyer through that online sales journey, and maybe even in person. Let me get into it here. You need to actually do all the above. This is not superseding. This is exceeding whatever you've been doing. We still have people ask us for print. So still people want handouts. You need to be SEO friendly, because they're still going to index, because some people are still going to be sticking out their finger to hail a taxi while we're transitioning to a new format. And obviously mobile is everything. Now, one thing for our industry is we've been very shielded. Not only are we tech laggard, but we've been very shielded because we have a very unique product. We have a huge disruptive barrier. It's like the Great Wall of China. They have a 4,000-mile wall that they protect them from their enemies. It was great, but now it's just a relic for tourists. But what it did also, and in addition to blocking out their competitors, you want to say that, it actually insulated them from innovation, closed them off from the world. And that's one thing we actually need to be careful about. Now, how is our industry protected? One, it only virtually exists. Two, it's a complex collaborative purchase. You're really not buying it on your own, like a pair of shoes in one sitting. And you need a lot of guidance because you got mortgages, you got a whole bunch of issues. You're actually shopping across many different channels. You may start off on the portal, go to the builder's website, go to a sales center, compared to a lot of other places, and you're bouncing around everywhere. You're also shopping across many sessions. So better have good memory. You want to start where you left off, not start over every time. You want to be like Netflix. The other part, unlike existing homes, you have to buy in pieces. So not only you have to buy a house, you have to buy down to the kitchen sink, choose the house colors, choose the floor plan options, choose the home site. It's already painful enough, but to put a jigsaw puzzle together, it's almost impossible. And then the other thing is there's a lot of handoffs. You're handing off not across only channels, but you're handing off across different people, retelling your story. Imagine doing that for every builder you talk to. So how can technology and AI specifically do this? Just like the drone, it's not blocked out by the Great Wall. It can fly right over that. So how does AI address all these issues? It only virtually exists. AI superpower is generative. It can generate anything you want, from a movie to a poem to a song, whatever you want. Complex collaborative purchase. It's super intelligent. It's been trained across not just a website, but the whole internet. And also has its AI super friends that also can join in the conversation. And it's probably learned every discipline. It probably has a medical degree, law degree, any kind of degree that you can even think of. It shops across many channels, shopping across many channels. It actually scrapes all this multimodal data. When I say multimodal, it's already scraped, like I said, all the websites of visuals and text. And so it's already seen everything. There's nothing for it to discover. Shop over many sessions. The great thing about AI is not only is it personalized, not only does it go over every channel, but it has great memory and it has personal memory. So it knows what you like and don't like. It knows where you've been and it knows where you left off. That's an important part of the new home shopping process. Buying in pieces, in addition to being generative, the other great superpower is it's able to take disparate data from different places. Maybe I need something from this YouTube video and I need something from that website. I need something from that spreadsheet. And it's able to synthesize all that together. Same thing with buying a new home. All those pieces and parts from all the different elements, vendors, pricing, inflation, or whatever, it can bring all those facets together to help you make a better decision and design your home. Many handoffs. This is where agentic comes in. Instead of being handed off to each new channel, each new person introducing yourself, the agent represents you, and maybe it's the first contact that the seller deals with. Is agent to agent. My sales agent would talk to your buyer's agent. Digital mass marketing revolution. It's not just an AI revolution. It's actually going to change the way marketing is done. Human marketers are great at mass aggregation. Your best marketers are able to bring people to an event, watch a TV show, get to your grand opening. It really takes the approach of using channels. And channels, it's not just a channel that you connect on. It's actually a channel that is like channeling something, not an evil spirit, but channeling you to a certain action or location. It channels the audience to the seller. So it's really taking a herd approach. You're a cow, so you go down this chute, and you're a sheep, you go down this chute. And that's the way indexing with SEO, with keywords, have basically identified who you are, where you want to go, and it's going to channel you there. So that leads to funneling. Sales leads are funneled. And that's what we've been using the term funneling for a long time. Now, the crazy part is it funneled you to that restaurant. But then when you get to the restaurant, which is, say, your website, there is no search engine. Help yourself. There's no Google on your search engine. So yeah, I got you to the buffet, but I know there's probably 50 things here that you like, 50 things you don't. Go figure it out. What AI is great at doing, it's great at mass personalization. If you think of Facebook, Facebook is personalization at a massive scale online, even with Netflix, same with Amazon. So it's really about becoming a personal concierge for the buyer. It's not hurting you, it's hearing you. And the way you hear someone, the way you respond to your clients that get that white tablecloth service, is you start off with a conversation. And the conversations, instead of sales leads being funneled, buyers are leading the way. They're guiding the conversation. And this is where AI O, AI optimization, it's about intent via conversation. So the robot not only asks, how can I serve you? It actually brings that content to you. Now, AI marketing and sales evolution, like I said, there's different phases of AI. Generative AI, like I said, is really focused on the marketing function, and it's really about creating that content. And that content follows the traditional principle of attracting an audience and engaging them. So it's still very valuable. Agentic AI is getting more towards sales because now that it's got you there, it needs to channel you down. And I want to say channel you down just like a sheep or a goat or something. It's taking you down a customer journey, give you something meaningful to chomp on. The next phase, which we're, let's talk again in 2 years, artificial general intelligence, AGI. And that's where the AI has learned so much from all the data and interactions over the last 3-4 years, because it may take us humans like 10 years to grow up and learn things. It takes it like 1 year. And now it's learning exponentially across the whole world. And as people generate new apps, it's picking that up as well. So I think in the future now, the buyers may not even have to go down this customer journey. The AI, through its own intelligence and intelligence gathering, will bring that perfect product to you and synthesize it together. And that's where you really will have an AI concierge. All right, so let me talk about the customer journey evolution. Keep it really simple. Okay, where are we at now? We have bots. Bots are like, and I'll explain in more detail, but that's what's been crawling the websites, right? So basically, bots are really handoffs. It's just handing you off from Google to Zillow to your website to sales center to a salesperson, and it's just handing you off and even go back and forth. AI assistants, you are starting out as still human, but you have an AI that kind of guides you along the way. So it's about hand holding. And then in the future, and the future is now for some people already, AI agents, and that's where you hand over. You let the AI come up with the grand ideas. You let AI handle the scheduling. You let AI do the dirty work of searching and all that stuff. I should say dirty work, because it's painful work. All right, so now how does this translate to what we do? AI marketing and sales evolution. Just show you how this thing has evolved over time. It's been a long time. Bots have been doing this in the old days of MapQuest, before we had GPS. We could say where we want to go and it will give us a map there. Maybe it can give you like 10 different routes to get there, but it's not going along with you along the way. It's not giving you that turn by turn like an AI assistant, but that's how Google searches are. It's going to give you a bunch of relevant websites that may match where you want to go, but you have to go out there on your own and figure it out. So what it does with the bots, it crawls those website words. And that's why everybody's been stuffing all these keywords. Describe your dream home in five words, which is impossible. But it's doing it through machine learning. And what, again, it follows the principle of funneling. It directs the buyer to go to the content, and it's primarily using the website channel. Imagine if you had to do this for every channel. Yeah, I think all of us would go bonkers. So at least everybody said, oh, look, let's focus on websites and let's only just use Google, because if there was like 10 other search engines, we would never even maintain it. And it's primarily only using the mode of texting, okay, typing. So you let your fingers do a lot of the work walking. Now with AI assistants, it's like GPS in your car, lane assistants, or rear view mirrors and all those things. It's already seen the lay of the land. It's scraped all that website content, but it's been pre-trained. GPS doesn't just pop up. It already knows where the roads are. So it's been pre-trained on how to get there, the best routes to get there, and even like things that may pop up like a accident or something, it knows how to divert you. So the way you interact and drive that vehicle is you prompt it. So the buyer directs the AI to bring that content to them or bring them to that content. So that's like an AI assistant. And it's beyond just the websites. It's omni-channel, because imagine you had to get to San Francisco. You can't just take an Uber all the way to San Francisco. So you may have to get an Uber to the airport, or Uber, and then a plane to the Los Angeles, and then from there take another Uber or something, or go on a train. It needs to be able to go across all these different channels, because if you can't, you just have a big gap or a big bottleneck. And it does that through that conversational channel, which is prompting. But it also introduces an important element for new homes, which is visual. If you only had text descriptions of your dream home, it would not work. You need the visuals. Even I still need to see the map when it guides me to take that turn, because I don't trust it taking me off a cliff or something. The other part now, the future, is autonomous AI. And this is like inside of a Tesla vehicle, which they're robo taxis. There is no driver there. Now, you may say where you want to go, you may give it some feedback, but it's been pre-trained and it's doing this in real time. It needs to know, hey, that stoplight just turned red. It needs to react as prices change, as availability changes. And what it's doing is it's comparing website content and other channel content at a massive scale, just like the LiDAR or radar, just looking at everything, every moving part. It's doing that at a massive scale and making decisions on behalf of you. So you can just sit back and relax, hopefully. What it does, though, to do that, it needs to execute. It needs to execute those terms. It needs to execute the breaks. The AI performs those buyers' tasks for buyers to shop all that content. When I say conversational website channel there, right now the AIs aren't really in your website. You may actually need to have your AI in your store that represents you and knows your products talk to the big AI, ChatGPT or Gemini, because it only scrapes so much. And then you can add in maybe in the future an element of voice. Just tell it what to do. What's going to happen is you're going to see an expansion of shoppers, right? Obviously, we all know on the left, humans, that's all we've been doing everything. You got a whole bunch of people there. You use all your great marketing, and then they have to move down this funnel to find it, design it, and maybe when they get to the collaborate stage, because they might need some advice or something, maybe the OSC picks it up. So now you're going from, doing this online, but you're going to take them offline. They started online. They may not necessarily want to go offline yet, but that's the way we humans have to work with them generally. So now you go offline to get that experience, though you may have some virtual tours, and then you may probably buy the house offline with a salesperson. That's a long process. You have to really squeeze a lot of lemons to get to some juice at the end in the sales. With AI assistance there, one, it opens up the funnel to be wider because now a lot of people can have AI doing some of the shopping and some of the legwork for them. And then maybe even all the way through from the fine design and maybe even some of the collaboration stage. Maybe your AI can talk to your seller's AI. So what could happen there is the funnel gets wider at the top, which is what we want. We want as many clients as we can get. And then we don't want just bad leads. And we also want that customer journey to be shorter for us as sellers and for the buyers, obviously, because they don't buy new homes because they want to go on a long journey. They want to buy a home so they can get their homes quickly. So that can shorten a journey by using some of this 24/7 AI assistance. And hopefully that translates into more sales, if not more profitability. And then on the far right there, the autonomous AI agents, that's where everybody has their AI do all the working. Every day before I wake up, go ahead and shop all these websites and bring it to me while I enjoy my cup of coffee. And it's doing a lot of the work. All those online to offline experiences from the other two funnels where there's a time delay there. It gets clogged in that process. Now, hopefully it can move more fluidly through there and that maybe a bigger audience, maybe even worldwide because AI can speak different languages and using visuals, a picture's 1,000 words, it transcends a lot of languages, move them through that funnel a lot quicker. So now bots, you guys already know this because this is the way it is right now. So bots, they need machine learning to serve us. It needs to be data tag, keyword index, algorithms. That's where a lot of our marketing people spend all this time. Ironically, they came in for a marketing job. They end up being an analyst. So they do a lot of that tagging. So they can set it up for website listings and directories, just like directories and yellow pages in the past, classified ads. That's how you had to set it all up. And then you can only do this for generic static content websites and addresses because you can't keep changing that website address. Otherwise, it can go to the wrong link and people can get even more frustrated. And it's all geared toward trying to get click-throughs. And for some reason, this industry, everybody believes that, hey, getting a 2% click-through is great. That's a lot of money for very little juice coming out of it. And it's really top of the funnel paid and organic advertising. So you pay your way to get to the top, not really that people really love you, but you're going to fake it till you make it. And then hopefully you get some organic traffic out of that. So you got SEO that drives all this keyword search, and you got chatbots that when that's your sales rep when they come to your site, but it's really based on decision trees or algorithms. And you have to actually do a lot of preparation by creating quizzes and all that. But everybody has to follow those questions in that order to get channeled into some human conversation. So it was really derived from, like in the old days, from card catalogs and libraries. You had to go to a central location like Google, and there's your card catalog. And the reason you have to index, because they're on index cards, to go find the science fiction section for you to go. You couldn't even take a picture of it. Hopefully you had to write down the floor, the aisle, the shelf to go and look for those books to go find that one unique paragraph that you're looking for. Wow, sounds so painful, but that's actually the way we still live. So AI creates a new marketing world order. In the SEO world, like I said, it's about index keywords. It lists the websites for you to go find those products. And it's really focused on brand marketing and the product is secondary. So what it does is trying to attract the audience to your website with marketing about the builder, who you are, where you build, and why you're so great. And it relies on the humans doing this to go find that needle in the haystack. So that you're trying to bait them to go to your haystack and hopefully they'll find the needle there. When the reality is they just want to find the needle. And so what happens is this results in a lot of higher bounce rates. That's why you have 60, 70% bounce rates and a longer journey. And I would say actually sometimes a shorter journey because people just drop out. It engages the prospects later in the funnel for those that are still serious, but they have to still browse, design, and converse at the end. So it's all about humans and when the humans are available, both as a buyer and a seller. With AIO, with a bot doing the shopping, it goes and uses its magnets to go to those haystacks and pull out those needles that meet your personal interests and requirements and desires, because it's more than just a house. It's about your house, the way you want it, and lifestyle, and a lot of other things that you can't describe in 5 keywords. So it brings the products to you based on your express intents. And now the focus is not about brand marketing. It's about product marketing. It's about, hey, I'm actually looking for a house. Now, I do care about your brand and about who you are, where you build, and your history and everything. But maybe that's later on. But you have to have what I want first, and the AI is going to go and figure out: do you have what the size shoe he wants in Air Jordan? If you don't, I don't need to go to your store. It's not saying your brand is not important, but your brand needs to appeal to AI first in this scenario, not just humans. Humans are maybe secondary. The unique thing is now it brought conversation, which is at the bottom of the funnel, to the top. The conversation is where the sales start. This is where you're going to see this convergence of marketing and sales. And so you need to go and talk about what and when relate to your products and why about your products. Then later on, you can talk about, once they start to design it, who, where, and how to get that. And AI could be along the way to help you. So as much as I'm talking about improving and reducing the shopping journey, agentic AI maybe eliminate the journey, just like what happened with Uber and taxi cabs. With taxis, you had to go walk out there on the main street in the pouring rain, hoping that you're lucky, just like you're clicking on a website, that you're lucky that a taxi drives by and decides to stop for you. And you do that yourself, and you have to do it through keyword searches. And the websites change every day, just like taxis may show up differently tomorrow and all that. That advances toward a natural language AI prompt. So you're not speaking like a robot in classified ads derived from newspapers classifieds 30 years ago. You're using prompts that relate to what you're looking for. And basically, you're giving your AI agent a task. Go get me that ride, at this time for my family at this price. So what happens is the AI is matching and notifying it, do it for me. And you get to sit in Starbucks and get notified when it finds it. And what that does is, in addition to reducing the customer journey, the other big frustration is that fear of missing out. The reason people go every day and look because they don't want to miss out on that dream home or the price change or somebody else bought it before I did or something like that. That fear of missing out is actually driving this arduous journey. With AI, we can reduce FOMO, fear of missing out, because it reduces that risk, that frustration, your valuable time, and the cost. I'm going to compare AI assistants to AI agents because it's a nebulous term. Seems like a lot of people use it synonymously, and I'm not sure I'm using it right. But in the AI assisted world, the AI assistants are humans shopping with an AI assistant. In an AI agent world, AI agents are shopping for humans, not just with you, for you. So if you use the analogy of the whole library, trying to do a research paper or whatever, the AI assistant is like finding that librarian that will sit there and pull those books for you and maybe show you the chapters or guide you through it. It's good. It's good help, but still painful. AI agents, you just say, hey, man, write this thesis, actually submit the report when you're done too. I'm just going to enjoy the pool and take care of things. And with an AI assistant, they've both been pre-trained, but one is autonomous. But with an AI assistant, it's very task oriented. It completes simple tasks. It's not the whole thing. I can find that footnote from somebody or on that picture from something, but it's personalized. It's interactive content versus all that static content that you had with bots, and it's interactive channels. And as humans interact, they're interacting with a single AI. I trust ChatGPT, or I trust Gemini, or I trust Claude, and they work through that AI to tap into all those channels and different sessions and languages. And that assistant can accompany you through that shopping journey. It's not just dropping you off at the website doorstep. It's taking you through that process. Now with an AI agent, it's goal oriented. What do you want to do? You want to get the best price? You want to get something that's the soonest available, or in this neighborhood, or whatever, or get a loan. It executes it in real time, but it can also be set up to do it on a scheduled basis. So it knows that, hey, you want to check every day at this time, or maybe you narrow it down to these 5 builders or whatever. So it's executing tasks for you. And it's not necessarily buying the house. It could be scheduling a tour or getting information or whatever. Personalized interactive content channels, but it's also introducing another channel of apps. The best way to talk to other apps and other AI is through an application software. And also a big difference is that you may not just be working with one AI. You may be working with many AIs. Like I use many different AIs for different purposes. They have different talents and skills. Some is personal, some is business. And they also then work with multiple AI agents. It has its own AI network of businesses and expertise that it can tap into. And then now it speaks beyond human languages, speaking in machine languages, because AIs understand each other better than trying to translate through humans. And it could really shorten your shopping journey. So with AI assistants, I already went through stuff on the right, but like with Beth here, she is still driver. She's still driving the car. The AI is there to assist her, but it's through intelligent, open-ended human to AI conversation, as opposed to just static indexing, regimented conversations. It's not even conversation, but searches. And so how's this AI nervous ecosystem look like? It looks a little scary, but it's actually not that bad. There's actually AI assistant for the buyer, and there's AI assistant for the seller. And they're actually like mirrors of each other, okay? Because at the end of the day, you guys are trying to work together to consummate a sale. So we know that buyers shop builders, but with AI could be an intelligent matchmaker where the builders can actually shop the buyers. Just like an Uber, you don't actually shop your driver in the vehicle. The driver decides whether to pick you up based on how good of a tipper you are, what your ratings are, you go in the same direction, how many people do you have in your car, all those kind of things. And so imagine if you can say, hey, I want to put a profile of my ideal buyer who needs to buy within 3 months and they like these things or this location, or it's already pre-qualified. So that could actually accelerate things because it's matchmaking. At the end of the day, what the buyers want, they want a better experience but what the seller wants is they want more profit. And so how's this happen? You start with what's at top of mind. Top of mind for the buyers is shopping. They think this is going to be a fun thing, but ultimately the shopping is supposed to lead down to an action, which is the purchase. On the sell side, what you're trying to do for their shopping is to market yourself, get in the market, get in their minds. And then that would then drive to sales at the bottom. Now, here's the problem. Buyers and sellers speak differently. Not all these home buyers have bought a home before. And even if you have, you may not know, you're not a real estate agent. You may not be a construction person. You don't know architectural terms and jargon and spec sheets and all this kind of stuff, CAD files, but they know what they like when they see it often. So you need to show it visually, textually with the descriptions, and maybe audio, using audio, maybe some of that's through just conversation, or maybe humans get involved. But on the marketing side, what they're used to having to do is they take all this information from their ERP systems and everybody else in the organization, and they have to get it from apps, from their website, produce it on their apps or website, videos, spreadsheets, photos, PDFs, CAD files, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that they have to somehow assimilate to market to these buyers. So things get lost in translation. Now, how do they even communicate online? There's really been the same 3 mediums: social, search, and e-commerce. Social has been dominated by Meta. Search is traditionally Google, and then e-commerce is with Amazon dominance. But all these guys have created AI agents or AI representatives. So they all have gotten smart. And that AI is now that translator visually, textually, and audibly across the 2 buyers and sellers. And along the way, AI agents will evolve And these AI agents are specialized in certain things. So you may have an AI agent that functions as a realtor, and another AI agent that functions as a mortgage lender, another one as insurance. So as you're going through the process in this customer journey, your main AI agent may be talking to these specialized AI agents so that they can just get the deal done and recommend you, automatically apply for things, already knows your address and your amount down and all those kind of things. And so that facilitates the whole process. So this is what normally happens with humans and humans with AI sales assistants on using the sales funnel. This really was really bad during COVID. So you get all these leads and you don't know whether they're good, bad, and ugly. Okay, so what do you need to filter that? You need a human like an OSC to go through and filter that. But they can only filter one at a time, and they can only filter it during banker's hours in a sense. And so you may have a bad lead that you're talking to, but right after them is a good lead. And unfortunately, the good lead has to wait their turn. But the problem is usually not only does it get clogged up in the funnel, like not cleaning your coffee filter, a lot of times we spend the most time with the ugly leads. They're the ones that have contingencies. They want to negotiate. They have all these constraints and problems and just a pain. If you could have AI over here be your sales assistant 24/7, and it can work simultaneously. So not the one robot equals 10,000 conversations simultaneously. You can now provide that immediate answer for that buyer, because maybe if you just answer my question really quickly, I can decide whether or not this is a good fit or not. It empowers them. They feel more excited. They got a response. They're more educated, more curated. They're actually more filtered, but not filtering and clogging you up, filtered and segregating the right ones for you. So now if they're more curated and everything, now the OSC can just tackle the ones that are like bad leads, but they're still attractive client that they need some hand holding with a good salesperson. The ones that are good leads are on autopilot. Maybe you can hurry up and push them through fast pass. And so one of the things here too is builders have good, bad, and ugly leads, but my ugly lead may be your good lead. So my trash is your treasure, and your trash is maybe my treasure. Why not let AI help us both out? Actually, the way you beat your competition is to help your competition. Keep them busy with stuff that you don't want, and vice versa. We help the whole industry. We spend less money, less time, customers are happier. I just wish things. Okay. This is how an AI assistant goes. Okay. Basically, you have your website or your content on your left, and you're starting shop from San Francisco, where the AI knows you're in San Francisco and it can respond to you. How can I assist you with your new home search today? So as you're interacting with it, the AI is also driving the content. So it knows, hey, I know where Raleigh is. Somebody in San Francisco may not know where it's on the map. So it's actually going to move it there for you. So one, it's actually handling it for you. And so you don't have to navigate as much. You can just focus on what you want to talk about. And then as you're corresponding, conversing, how many bedrooms, baths, whatever, and giving all your restrictions. This is a way that you cannot do on a search, right? You have to go to each website, and you can't even talk within the website store. And so say, hey, I need something in December. And then the AI says, here's some communities. Oh, I like Autumnwood. So now you click on Autumnwood and it takes you to that page. So what we want to do is bring the content to wherever the conversation is being led by the buyer. And now we're going to get to AI agents. On the AGI, artificial general intelligence, there's going to be a lot of conversations going on. On the left, you see it says H to A to H. It's like a crazy chemical formula, but it may be humans talking to AI. And then AI says, hey, let me go talk to my AI, because I have a friend that's a AI mortgage lender, and maybe he can get you that thing that you were looking for. And then it comes back and talks to human again. So we're actually going to start to see, and it's going to be more normalized, where personally and professionally, we may be working with a combination of humans and AI. I've already gone through the stuff on the right. How's the interface? Could you imagine that these are all the tools, that all the apps that we may already have on our desktop or in our phones. It's very painful to go through each one and register sometimes, or forget your password, or have time to even get in there and all that stuff. What we want to do, I think this is where it's going, is AI has all its AI experts, and a lot of them represent apps and companies, that you can just instruct your AI to do things, and it will then register, sign on, execute, pay, or whatever. So in this scenario, your personal AI buyer's agent speaks to the industry AI sales agents. Okay. So a scenario may be just through voice. This is where voice comes in, or you can type it. Get me a ride to the airport and push my Zoom meeting back an hour. Order our favorite pizza from for home delivery at 6 and notify my family. Movie recommendations. There's a lot of things in there that encompasses all these different apps. Give me a ride to the airport. Does it know where your airport is? Yeah, it knows that you're near, it knows where you live. Give my Zoom link back an hour. Okay. Does it know who to invite and everything? Order our favorite pizzas. Does it know what your favorite toppings are, or you're gluten-free or whatever? Because it has that in your ChatGPT profiles, or it already knows what restaurants you go to, who your contacts are and all that. At 6 o'clock, does it need to know Eastern time, Pacific time? It knows all that and notify my family. It needs to know who your family is. And then movie recommendations. If they want to recommend something you don't like or something you've already seen, and it's maybe you want to start a season 3, episode 2, to know all that, it needs to know you. But to actually act on that, it needs to have access to all these apps. So in the future, you may not have all these apps. You may have registered once, but never touch it again. That actually sounds good. So an autonomous AI agent, this is where the bots lead the way and you're riding shotgun. So what it's doing is shopping dozens of websites and portals simultaneously. It's not desirable to do that, but it's not even possible to do that. So what it does is it does that, and then it actually on top of that prepares analysis and recommendations. It's not just leaving you with a lot of static junk that you have to digest. It's actually recommending things based on your constraints and needs and wants. And it can do this on a regular schedule. So what happens is, this is an example I've actually utilized. I think this is using Manus. It's going through and it's looking through all the websites like Zillow and builders websites and all the stuff on the left. It's showing you what its brain is thinking. But imagine you had to go and read all that and click on all those elements and then type out all that stuff and aggregate it and then put it in side by side. I'm not going to show you all the stuff it goes through, but it's looking at pictures, it's comparing them, it's evaluating them. And as you feedback and say, actually, I don't really like that style, you don't have to explain that's a craftsman style colonial. It just tells you, it knows based on what you reacted to. Okay. Trying to keep to her little deadline here. Autonomous AI agents. Now that I've narrowed it down to which builders I like, this is showing the AI brain on the left and then what humans are clicking through on the right. So it says, hey, New Home Inc. is in this actual company, one of our friends and clients. I like them. I want to build with them, but I don't really want to shop their store every day. So just find me this quick move in home in Lillington, North Carolina, Podunk here. It's going through and figuring out where everything's on the website. It's finding out is clicking on the drop down list. It's clicking on move-in ready filters and stuff, and then it's notifying me. So imagine if AI is doing all that, how much I think consumers will actually shop, but they're not really shopping. But what that means for marketing is, if your eyes aren't geared toward AI's eyes, which doesn't care about font size or color schemes or even your branding and logos and things like that, if you can't meet what the AI is looking for with its AI eyes, you will never, or you may be less likely to find human eyes. But you still need to appeal to human eyes, because when I go to that website, it better be emotionally attractive and appealing to me. I'm almost done here. Okay. I think in the short term, what will happen is you start to see this hybrid of AI assistants and agents, and AIO and a little bit of AGI, which is happening very quickly. I think what happens between humans and AI is each one does what it does best, and it's really at the buyer's preference and direction. Some of you guys are still going to be like the Tin Man. You're still going to hate AI. Some of you guys are still going to be like the lion, scared to death of it. And some of you, just like the scarecrow, just don't get it. But whatever your stage and whatever your preference is, let AI help you in that area. And what I said, like back at the beginning about the collaboration, with human and AI jointly shopping together online, now with the AI assistant, you can collaboratively find, design, experience, and buy online. But how does that look in the customer journey, walking with Dorothy in a sense? The first interaction in finding may actually be done by the bot. It's actually going to search every day for you, and it's never going to leave you with FOMO. Once it finds the jewel or the needle in the haystack that you may like, now you can take the steering wheel again as a human. Now, when you get to the design phase further down the funnel, you may want to be the one to design it because you have your taste and your needs and your dreams and your spouse. For me, it's my spouse, to help you design it. And then the bot may say, hey, based on that, let me help you compare some things, evaluate some things, and tell you the trends. Now, when you actually go visit the home, you may want to be the one experiencing. I don't think AI can really experience it yet, So you experience it. And then when you get to the buy part, you probably don't want to just hand over the check to the bot, but the bot can do the checks and balances for you. You sign off on it. The bot can execute the digital contract for you, maybe help you transfer the funds, Venmo in the sense. But it also may be the one that applies for the mortgages for you, arranges the moving company, or get your utilities connected. And what marketing and sales needs to do for builders, it needs to mirror that human AI journey. Otherwise, if you're left out, you may never catch up again. And so what I see is going to happen is, I think this is the last slide. You have to, right now, your websites, which is still your primary thing, it technically is SEO and AI friendly because it was all scraped. It's already seen everything you have in your store. But so it's good for generative AI because it's preparing for the search engine bots and it's been pre-trained. The bots are crawling it. And you can still add an element of personalization because it says, hey, they do have some of these things over here. You just can't design it or whatever. Now, AI enabled is really where a lot of our clients are going. And now we create websites as well, is now it provides some of the AI assistance. So now the AI can now guide that buyer through the journey. It may be now AI is tapping in to your proprietary data. You don't want that out there for competition. You don't want it out there for AI to scrape, not only because you don't want AI to see it, but because AI may only come around every couple of months to scrape it. So if your prices change or availability changes, it's going to be out of sync. Imagine if Amazon only scraped every 2 weeks, we'd all drop out. Having AI enabled on your website and you're going to have to create an app for that because as you may all know, when you get AI, you have an app, you register for it. How does it know you? How does it know where you're at and what you've done? So you need to mirror that on your website. And that really provides that personalization at a massive scale with AI assistance. And then AI first, or some people call it AI native, you start out building your whole all your channels from AI, your whole ecosystem, not just your website, but also your sales center. So when they can start where they left off, then knows who you are. That really takes the AI to the next level of AI general intelligence, where now the buyer can actually act autonomously, but the AI really knows your product and it really knows the customer. Thank you. I think we're gonna go on this crazy yellow brick road journey to hopefully this AI Emerald City. Hopefully it's not as scary. Hopefully you fall in love a little bit, and hopefully I educated you. And you can actually ask Beth. She's our Dorothy. If you scan that, she's put all her brains and all her webinars and training and experience as a builder into that, so you can tap into that anytime you want.
Yes. John, you certainly have a way to take such a complex topic and break it down for the rest of us, where we can actually begin to understand what this future looks like. So thank you so much for doing that for us. Again, you guys, I did record this webinar because I know some of you may need to listen to it a couple of times, just like I do, in order for it to all click together. So I will get it over to you sometime next week. Again, thank you so much for staying with us here today, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Everyone.